You can call me John. I'm a single 24-year-old. I work at a well-known department shop in Manhattan's downtown right now. My smartphone started ringing just as I was thinking about going back to bed after drinking too much and suffering from a pounding hangover. My supervisor, the department manager, was the one who called. On the day off, why would he be calling the store? My supervisor welcomed me with excitement as I answered the phone, looking at me like I was lost. Good morning, John. I'll pick you up this evening as promised. What pledge are you referring to? You're really humorous. Did you not mention at the party yesterday that you would go on a date with my daughter and possibly even try cohabiting? His reply was so out of the blue that it utterly confused me. My supervisor added, "Talk to you later," and abruptly hung off, but I was too shocked to respond. I tried to calm myself down by drinking some water as I couldn't understand what was going on. I felt awful when I considered the party from last night. I was drinking beer to bury my sorrows after going through a breakup at the company's drinking party. Layla, a gorgeous 22-year-old model with an amazing body, was my ex-girlfriend. I was in love with her, but after we had a talk and she cheated on me, we decided to end things. Layla stated that if I was going to accuse her of cheating, there were plenty of other men out there instead of me, and it would be best to end the relationship. I was upset by her callous remarks and turned to alcohol to drown my sorrows. My recall of what transpired next is hazy, but I believe I told my supervisor about my sadness. A scary reality came to light just as I was getting a message from a coworker asking how I was doing yesterday and what I had discussed with my supervisor. Upon observing my distraught mood, my supervisor proposed. How about going on a date with my daughter? This year is her 37th birthday, and she appears ready to tie the knot. She appeared to like you when she spotted you at the store, and she is sincerely looking for a mate. I would really like to see my grandchildren, as I will shortly be retiring. I'm married to an elderly woman, and I promise it's wonderful. I seem to have answered nonchalantly, sure, why not, when I was intoxicated. My supervisor, who was encouraged by my answer, even made the suggestion that we try living together for a month in order to get to know one another better. Once you get to know her, I'm sure you'll like her. I hate my old self for lifting a glass and saying that in response to your words, boss. I truly want to flee, but I can't since I accepted this on my own. My supervisor arrived at my house in the evening as agreed upon to pick me up. It seems that our destination was an upscale eatery, where I was expected to have my first encounter with his daughter. We would go straight to my daughter's apartment, where she lives alone, after supper. The apartment is completely equipped, so all you need to bring is essential gear. I'll transport your belongings to the apartment while you two are dining. Additionally, since it's a big occasion, how about dressing up in a stylish suit? I believe it will greatly increase your charm. All right. My boss's excitement overwhelmed me, so I gathered my belongings, dressed into a suit, and slid into the car. I'm sure you two will get along, my supervisor would smile and say again as we were traveling. I started to feel hopeful as I listened to him. Despite my strong attraction to younger, attractive women, I recently experienced a traumatic breakup and decided it could be a good idea to try dating an older woman this time. And perhaps my boss's daughter is attractive, given how strongly he is pushing this. I went to the restaurant with these fantasies in mind, but my aspirations were dashed right away. The woman who was waiting for me was not the normal kind. She was a really overweight person. Normally, I like thin ladies. My sister and mother feel the same way. This woman in front of me appeared to be really large. It's good to meet you. My name is Grace, she said kindly. It seemed that her outfit, with its beautiful flowery print, was mismatched. Perhaps it was because her outfit was bright colored, and her hair was a completely different color. I was dissatisfied because her age was evident on her face, and it was not nice. My employer smiled and said, "Take your time," after we had exchanged greetings. As I was wondering what to chat about with a woman over 10 years my senior, Grace began to speak gently. I apologize for drawing you into this difficult circumstance, but don't worry, I recognize my place as well. Her surprising remarks caught me off guard. Grace turned to face me with a lovely grin as I stood there, gaunt. My father is incredibly eager to marry me off as soon as possible. But as you can see, I'm ashamed to admit that I have never experienced love despite my good looks and social abilities. In fact, I've given up on the notion of getting married. Oh, I see. While Grace was speaking, I couldn't help but feel bad for her. It seems that the person in a hurry was not her, but rather her father, my employer. Thus, I must ask for a favor. For only 1 month, would you be willing to live with me? We would, of course, have our own bedrooms, and I would pay for all of our living expenses. In my residence, you are free to do as you wish. My father should cease bothering me if I can show him that I'm not suited for living with someone. Don't worry, if things don't work out, I'll make sure you don't face any discrimination at work. I was set on turning down every proposition at first, but after hearing her story, I had second thoughts. All right, Grace, you can tell that your father genuinely cares for you. Given the situation, I'll consent to this. When Grace heard me agree, her eyes lit up with happiness. Many thanks. I'm overjoyed. Well, but I have to admit, John, you really are amazing. Let's utilize the upcoming month to its fullest. Grace struck me as a nice and gentle person as I got to know her. Despite her social awkwardness, I think she really is a good person. She's obviously not my type, and although I feel bad for her, I don't think there's much prospect of a love relationship developing between us. Thus, we started a 1-month trial period of cohabitation. They're going for it, my boss exclaimed, beaming with excitement. But we had decided to break up within a month, using the mutually accepted reason that we just didn't click. However, living with Grace proved to be really comfortable in the end. I was first concerned about our age difference and lack of shared interests. But one day, I discovered something unexpected about her that completely altered our relationship. It's a lovely bouquet of flowers. Did you purchase them? I'd inquired about the little white bouquet that was sitting on the windowsill. Grace gave a head shake. No, that was my creation. You created that? Surprised, I asked. It turns out that Grace was a floral arrangement instructor, something I was unaware of. I was interested by her work because I work at a department store and have a strong interest in fashion and art. Where did you get the idea for this arrangement? I inquired. As Grace described her masterpiece, her eyes gleamed. The snowdrop is the name for this white flower. Isn't it stunning? I used a silvery environment as my inspiration and the snowdrop as the focal point to convey the winter's glittering magnificence. After hearing Grace describe her distinct perspective, I became enthralled with her. The time passed quickly as we enjoyed our conversation regarding the arrangements. We were going to eat separately at first, but I couldn't help but want to spend more time with her. We had a natural tendency to start eating meals together without even realizing it. Grace may have been a professional chef because she was highly adept at doing domestic duties. We had originally intended to divide up the domestic duties, but Grace always made sure the house was clean by the time I woke up because she was an early riser. I tried to help because I felt bad, but Grace replied that I was the one who forced this arrangement on her. Ultimately, Grace handled every task, save for cleaning my room and doing the laundry. My home was always tidy and orderly, and my meals were tasty and well-balanced. The level of comfort was exceptional. My manager at work would often check in with us. John, how's it living with my daughter? It's truly pleasurable. Grace is really good at doing housework. I sincerely appreciate it. I'm glad to hear that. She claims that someone like me can never experience love. Despite being our beloved daughter, she constantly minimizes herself. After hearing my boss's story, I had an idea. I chose to give Grace a gift of my own because I'd been meaning to thank her for her wonderful dinners. I chose to use my sewing talents to create a personalized pie for her after finding a suitable piece of cloth. My covered pastime is stitching, and my mother taught it. I work at a department store now, managing the fashion floor. Of course, I had to take her measurements so I could make the garment. Grace was excited to hear about my plan when I told her. Oh, I'm very grateful. John, I'll let you handle the measures then. Yes, please, thank you. I held Grace's arms out gently, nervousness taking hold of me. I was so excited to see her body up close for the first time that my heart was racing. Whoa, that girl is huge. Grace was definitely larger than typical. But I think that part of her advantage was that she could wear some styles better than others. In keeping with that belief, I gave her a handcrafted dress. This is mine to keep. Grace looked stunning in the shiny black dress with its patterns of huge white roses. I eventually started to think that her stylish attire was more attractive than her cutesy, frilly ones. Her bigger frame seemed to be perfect for striking patterns and distinctive looks. Grace, you really look amazing. Could I apply your makeup as well, if you'd like? Working at a department store, a job my sister, a hairstylist, had suggested. I picked up some basic makeup abilities. I put makeup on Grace's face, taking notes from a makeup book. She usually liked her makeup natural, so I went for a deep black eyeliner and a vivid red lipstick. Her raven black hair looked amazing with the strong makeup, just as I had predicted. No way, I'm not even familiar with myself. Grace, you do a great job incorporating this unusual look. I guess I like it, even if this is a first for me. I used to wear flowery, frilly clothes just because my mother enjoyed them. I see, Grace said, recalling how her mother had once encouraged her to dress in this manner. I've always detested my appearance. Though I always believed makeup to be useless, I must admit that it does have an impact. Since not everyone can carry off this look, it's very remarkable when someone can. That someone is you. Have faith in yourself. You're quite attractive. I could feel the heat rising in my cheeks as soon as I said those words. I really felt that, so it wasn't flattery. Grace looked very gorgeous as she stood in front of me. I never imagined that this was how I would perceive her. Thank you, John. I'm overjoyed. Grace put those words into words and smiled sweetly. My heart lifted to see her happy face. Age was no longer a factor. After just 3 weeks of cohabitation, I started to really like her. Her bigger frame initially turned me off, but I eventually got used to it and was most taken by her charming attitude. I had to say what was on my mind before the trial time ended. I decided that the next day off, I would take Grace shopping. We would try to find clothes that fit her new fashion sense. In the middle of all this, I made the decision to come clean. My ex-partner Layla sent me a note expressing her desire to reunite. I would have happily accepted her invitation if it had been the old me, but that was not me just now. I told Layla up front that I couldn't. My heart belonged exclusively to Grace at this point. I made a decision to move on from the past and anticipate our date tomorrow. But something unexpected occurred during the date with Grace. Oh, John, is that you? When Grace and I happened to run into Leela while strolling through the mall, I was completely unprepared. With a bewildered expression on her face, Grace assessed Leela with an obtrusive gaze. Compared to Grace, Leela was more conventionally attractive. She didn't appear lovely when she made that face. John, did I dump you and you go crazy? You have always had a thing for slender, attractive women like me. Strolling around with a bulky, mature woman such as she is, your taste has significantly declined. Grace was left stunned by Leela's cruel remarks. Then, with a seductive purr, Leela strolled over to me and said, "Hey John, wake up. Let's begin anew. I'm far superior to that elderly woman." "Don't disrespect the person I care about," I interrupted Leela because I could take no more of my silence. The volume of my voice took me by surprise, even more than I had anticipated. My abrupt change in mood surprised Leela and Grace as well, making their eyes wide. To me, Grace is the most significant person in the planet. To me, Leela, she is far more wonderful than someone who denigrates others like you. That's my level of affection for her. Leela, even if it's you, I won't allow you to continue hurting her. What? Okay, anything. That simple, uninteresting old lady is perfect for you. Leela spit out her farewell statement and bolted off. Taking Grace's hand, I walked to a quiet park, realizing that the town people were watching us. Grace was crying uncontrollably, perhaps because Leela had said something hurtful to her. I had to get her to calm down in a peaceful area. I first apologized to Grace as we sat down on a bench. "Grace, I apologize for the previous incident. My ex was acting inappropriately. You must not take it personally. Grace gave me a tearful look when I stated that. No, that isn't it. I'm content. I've always detested my appearance. I was ecstatic to hear it from you even though I had assumed no one would ever appreciate me. John, I've liked you since the first time I saw you. Overwhelmed with joy, I pulled Grace gently into an embrace. Grace, I adore you too. You truly are stunning. Grace took hold of my hand and said, Yes, even if other people put me down. If you say that to me, John, that's enough for me, as I said that and stroked her back. I was able to communicate my sentiments to her, even though it turned out to be very different from what I had first thought. We then formally began dating and informed my boss that we intended to someday tie the knot. The news made the boss quite happy. Congrats. The reunion of my gorgeous daughter and my admirable subordinate makes me very happy. Thus, following a year of courtship, we were able to legally register our union. We are getting ready for our wedding ceremony right now. We had to sew Grace a new wedding dress because she had dropped a lot of weight since we first met. The boss looked at a magazine featuring floral arrangements and sighed dreamily. Grace really has become so beautiful since meeting John, she said. Grace appeared on the cover of that magazine. With her achievements and stylish appearance, Grace, who had established herself as a successful flower arrangement instructor, became a well-known and captivating personality in the floral arrangement sector. Grace looked several times more gorgeous than she had been when we first met, especially in the black dress I had given her as a present, which was tailored to fit her slimmer form. Love is a powerful thing, isn't it? I was able to move past a heartbreak and rediscover the joy of love after I met Grace. If I'm with her, we can conquer everything that comes our way. I beamed at the boss, knowing in my heart that this was true.